Hello, and I am back with a thought. Well, not really a thought today, more so a story. I have shared this story a couple of times. It's a personal story, and teaching mindfulness and meditation is something I've shared now on 2 occasions, and people seem to have really liked it. And I thought I'm going to share it with anyone that watches because it is quite a heartwarming story and it's personal to me, and the experience of something that happened in the summer. So I was on holiday in Wales, along the Pembrokeshire coast. Love it down there. We stay in a caravan. It's just amazing. If it's raining, it's even better in my eyes because I love the sound of the rain on the roof. Just that feeling, just being warm in the caravan, and the sound of the rain on the tin roof is just quite special. But one day, the sun was out and we went down to the beach. And I was sat on my own just reading a book. My family had gone off to explore the rock pools. And while I was sat there, a man in the distance caught my eye. Now, he was throwing a frisbee up in the air. He must have been throwing this frisbee, I don't know, for 45 minutes, an hour. I didn't actually have my phone with me at the time, so I couldn't check. But it was a long time. He was throwing this frisbee up and down, and there were dogs running on the beach, and I thought, are they going to catch the frisbee? And each and every time he threw the frisbee up into the air and he caught it. He never didn't catch the thing. And in between each throw is what he would do is kind of move his arm in some sort of motion and do what I can only explain as Tai Chi or something like that in between with the other arm. I didn't know what he was doing. Anyway, my family came back. I was mesmerised by him. I must have been watching him for a good half an hour, solidly, as well as glimpsing up in between. But it was fascinating. He had long hair and like a bandana and a bag. And yeah, it was just quite fascinating to watch the whole thing. So I drew my family's attention to it. And I said, oh, look at this man. He's doing some sort of movement. And then out of nowhere, everyone started making their own judgments and assumptions. Oh, he could be mad, he could be this, and don't go over there, don't do that. Oh, he could be doing this because he's... Anyway, all sorts of things come up. And then I started thinking about non-judgment. And with being a mindfulness teacher, non-judgment is something we discuss. So I said, you can't really be judging them. We don't know. We don't know his story or what he's doing. I'm going to go over and find out. And my daughter said, no, don't go, Mum. And anyway, if someone tells me not to do something, my default is usually do the opposite. So off I went. And I approached this man, and he was absolutely fascinating. I interrupted him and said, excuse me, hope you don't mind, but I've been watching you for a while, and explained that I'd just seen him sat there. And it was just, he was such a lovely, lovely man. And he had this bag with the tree of life on it. And inside it, there were lots of other different frisbees. And he proceeded to tell me about his life. He had 5 children, 1 adopted. He'd lived down in Wales in caravans for about 25 years. And in the heat wave in the summer, he would just go down into the sea to cool down. And just amazing facts about his life. And is what he was doing when he was throwing the frisbee is... essentially, he was being mindful. He was so present with that task. He was enjoying it, just being in the moment, and he loved it. And I asked him what the reason for the Tai Chi style movements were. And he shared that if he didn't do that, he'd essentially have one arm like an ape or a monkey, because if he's doing all of the throwing of the frisbee with the one hand, the other arm isn't getting any exercise. So very practical, well-balanced, thought-out process, if you ask me. So he was doing the movements in between each throw, exercising this arm, so they both equally had the exercise. And he shared about the frisbee, where you should not have the ones with the holes in, the solid ones are better, and the weight of the frisbee that you should use, not the ones they sell in the shop, and how he could give the windsurfers advice, but he doesn't. And he obviously has, over time, learnt how to catch the wind and how best to catch this frisbee. But anyway, it was absolutely amazing conversation. Then my daughter come over as I've been chatting for a while, and she also had a brief conversation with him and really enjoyed speaking to him as well. And it just goes to show we can't judge anyone or any situation, because each and every one of us is different and doing our own thing. And also just being mindful in the moment and how much pleasure he was getting out of this task. So yeah, it was amazing really to see. I did follow on and write a meditation about it, which I often share as well, and just the whole experience, I'll never forget that day, and I just wanted to share it. So I hope you enjoyed that story, and I'll be back again.